think the biggest mistake overall is backloading the work too much, not really thinking about the hard question of who are we selling to, and what's our connection to them and what's going to de-risk the conversation, and just hoping that more funnel and more kind of like automation and tools are going to help you. So
Hmm.
I think that's probably the biggest one. Another one is more technical, but it ties into everything else, and that's related to deliverability, right? And that kind of thing. So what's happening is there's the robots are getting smarter, right? And if you send a campaign that people don't want, you're going to be more likely to have your domain, slapped on the wrist, right, and kind of
Hmm.
going to spam. So then people are thinking, "Oh crap, our open rate's bad," and really you're just going to spam and nobody's seeing it at all. So that's the biggest thing. I liken it a little bit to SEO, where I'm sure there was a time where you could just do SEO paint by numbers and build a bunch of fake links and have it work. But now it's really more about, putting content up that people actually want to read so you get ranked. Outreach is becoming more like that as, the email inboxes get smarter. So I think that's the other thing, is just like finding that fine line between the personalization and scale. If for context, what we're doing, like most of our clients, we're sending about 50 to 200 contacts per day. We're contacting 50 to 200 people. So that's another one. And then a lot of it is just about being able to, budget the right amount of time for this, being able to get on calls with people, and optimizing sales process, which is, probably a whole other conversation, but that's
Yeah, I was
that's a
gonna say
few
that's
things
a
that
whole
come to mind.
separate
Right.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what are some of your favorite tools that you use to be able to get this done?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff we use is custom and proprietary and so on and so forth. But I think that if you're DIYing this, Sales Navigator will actually get you really far. LinkedIn has some things that are messy about it, but as of now, the time of this recording, it's really kind of like not the only game in town, but it's the thing that we all update. Because I think a lot of the times we people think that, oh well, this data provider must have this crazy edge, and there are people that have an edge, but I think writ large it's more about not information but how you use it now. And this is like the world at large. This isn't just the sales world. It's really about being able to use this information and make it like immediately actionable. So Sales Navigator is a great tool. In terms of email outreach, we've used reply.io in the past. I've been pretty happy with that. There's some others that do different things, and I can't speak to all of them. And I think that once you have a positive response and or a meeting, then that's where you're in more of CRM land. One of my favorites, and a lot of different opinions about this, but I really like Streak because it lives in the inbox. And if you're on Gmail, having everything be in one place and then being able to do batched email is really useful, I found. But
Hmm.
then again, like it's kind of what you can make work. And, I think there's lots of arguments for different tools. So
Have you ever used GMass?
it sounds familiar, and I might have a long time ago, but I can't say for sure.
It's a pretty cool tool. We've used it a lot. It lives in the inbox, or it lives in Chrome. It's an extension, and it allows you to send bulk emails from your Gmail account, but yet you can customize, you can insert fields into them and have it pull all the data from a Google Sheet. So you
Oh,
could, for
cool.
example, have a field, a cell where you've got your first sentence in a cell for the second sentence and the third sentence, so that when you got your VAs and they're writing in those custom sentences on a person by person basis, but they're putting it into the Google Sheet, and
Yeah.
then you could have GMass, send all of those emails, and it's going to pull all of that data from the sheet. So each email is highly customized, and then it allows you to use your own Gmail and gives you analytics and so forth on it. I'm not saying it's the be all end all. I'm just saying it's a low cost tool that's been effective for us in the past.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that, and I think like a spreadsheet can get you really far. And I think that like whether you're using GMass or a different tool, I think the important thing is like front loading that work
Hmm.
and trying to get more people just to reply from the initial email, as opposed to saying like, well, if I hit this person up, they'll reply, right? And I think the
Yeah, no.
consistency does matter, but and some follow ups can be useful, but it's if somebody's not interested in the first email, the chances that they're going to be interested in the fifth one, or in a short period of time, are kind of unlikely. So
Yeah, I get those all the time. And when I start to get the third and the fourth reminder that's not adding any value, that's when I start clicking spam.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
give you the
that's
first chance. I'm not going to spam you I'm not going to put you in spam the first time, because I get it. It's business. We all need to go out and try and sell our wares, but you also need to do it in such a way that's adding value to me, so that even if I don't buy your stuff, it wasn't a waste of my time to have read your email. But when your second email says, "Hey, have you read this yet?" You're basically saying, "Hey, is my money ready yet? Can I come pick it up?"
yeah, exactly. And I couldn't agree more. And like, not only that, we had Robert Rose on the show, you might know, and he made the point that people, decision makers, and especially in large organizations, they don't necessarily want to read a bunch of stuff. Like we've heard all this stuff about, like, sales is the last leg, and people have to do all this research first and before they ever agree to speak. That's true sometimes, but those people don't necessarily want to have to digest a bunch of material. Like,
Yeah.
the barrier to getting a sales call isn't necessarily super high. There just needs to be the right vibe and the right connection, strength of connection, in order just to, have somebody say, yeah, I'll talk to you. And so that's why, it's contextual, but that's why we're big believers in outreach, assuming it's done the right way. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Dan, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. For people who would like to get in touch with you, what is the single easiest way for them to do that?
Yeah, totally. So if you don't mind, I'll plug our recent live training, which goes through a lot of this, which is just saleschema.com/relationships, plural.
So
So that
salesschema.com/relationships.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the best way. And Dan@saleschema.com is my email. I'm always happy to connect.
All right. Well, Dan, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for making time.
Thanks, Trent. Yeah, I really appreciate it.